Several people nowadays do not have enough savings to cover their monthly expenses. And if 2020 has taught us anything, it is that nothing is certain. You can plan as much as you want, but something completely outside of your control can derail everything and even cost you your job. People have worked to build businesses only to be forced to close them due to the quarantine. But crises aren't always terrible. They stir things up and give everyone a chance to reach the top in a relatively short amount of time. Consider how many people have made a fortune as a result of the crypto ball. The United States also added a record number of new millionaires between 2019 and 2020, vaulting it to the top of the list of nations with the most millionaires. If you are not one of them, don't fret. Such opportunities arise every 5 to 10 years, but you must be prepared for them. As a matter of fact, you don't even need such an opportunity to realize financial independence. We have several financial tools in the 21st century that anyone can become financially free if they invest right on time and wisely. Dividend investing is one of them. Warren Buffett earned $3.8 billion in dividends in 2018. Don't get me wrong, he did not sell his shares. Rather, the companies in which he was invested paid him that amount. But why is that? What is the structure of dividends? What kind of stock should you buy if you want to get the highest dividends? Are dividend stocks preferable to rental income? And how do you invest in dividend stocks so you can quit your job? We'll address all of these concerns as well as many others. But first and foremost, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be updated whenever we upload new videos like this. Enjoy! So many believe that rental income is the ideal type of passive income, and it's difficult to argue with you because the value of the property offered is constantly increasing, and rental income is frequently sufficient to meet your needs and desires. However, in contrast to what many people believe, managing real estate is not as simple as it appears. It takes a lot of time to keep your rental income coming in, so it's not as simple as many of you think. Dividends are the true form of passive income, which is why they are so appealing. When you find the right company to invest in, you may not have to do anything. But first and foremost, what are the dividends? Companies, you see, take time to mature and grow up. Initially, they will require investments to hire people and rent a space. However, once they begin to make a profit, they share that profit with the company's owners. So when you buy a stock, the company is required to share its profit with you, which is known as a dividend. However, not all companies, particularly those in the technology sector, pay dividends. They'd rather we put that money back into the business to help it grow faster. But they prefer stable companies with little room for expansion. Companies like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Johnson & Johnson, and others typically share their profits with their shareholders. However, because companies such as Amazon face intense competition, they never pay a profit and instead benefit their shareholders by keeping their stock price rising. To find out how much a company pays in dividends, simply Google the company's stock price and pay close attention to the dividend yield. In this case, Apple pays 60% for each stock. In other words, Apple will pay you 88 cents for each share of stock you own. That is not a large sum of money. However, if you own enough stocks, this could add up to a sizable sum. However, since the beginning of the pandemic, the Fed has lowered interest rates and begun purchasing corporate bonds. As a result, stock prices rose dramatically, with some doubling in a year, but dividends remained constant, lowering dividend yield. Before the pandemic, Apple, for example, paid a dividend yield of 2.5%, which means for every $1,000 invested in Apple, you would receive $2.50 back. Still, that number does not appear to be as high as it can be in reality. But you must consider that when you invest in dividend stocks, you benefit from the stock's rise as well. In the last 10 years, Apple has not only paid dividends, but the stock price has increased by 1,156%, far more than real estate investors can even imagine. However, some companies are known as the king of dividends. There is an elite list of 31 companies that have a history of doing so. These are companies that have weathered financial storms and difficult markets while increasing their dividends year after year. Johnson & Johnson, for example, is a company on which investors can rely. It has increased its dividends for the past 59 years. As of this year, it pays 2.54% dividends, which amounts to $4.24 per year, which means that if you own $100,000 in Johnson & Johnson stock, you will receive a dividend payment of $2,540 every year. Of course, you will benefit from the stock price increase as well. Coca-Cola, which pays more than 3% in dividends, is another popular dividend stock. It is a well-established company that does not appear to be shrinking in the coming decades. Do you believe that people will stop drinking Coca-Cola soon? No, I don't believe so. That is why it has increased in dividend payment for 59 years in a row. The primary question, however, is how much money should you invest to live off dividends and retire? Before we can answer that question, we need to know how much you spend per year. $40,000, $50,000, or $60,000. That number will be different for everyone. But let's say it's $50,000. If we assume a dividend yield of 2.5%, you should buy $2 million worth of dividend stocks to make $50,000 per year. Of course, there are dividend stocks that pay significantly more. They are, however, risky. With the king of dividends, you can sleep soundly because these companies are so large and well established that even in 10 years, they will most likely be larger and pay more dividends. Relatively small companies that pay 6 or 7%, on the other hand, may see their profits plummet. In reality, paying high dividends itself is the way companies lure investors when they are doing poorly financially. You will receive a higher dividend yield, but if the stock price continues to fall, you will lose money. As a result, I never invest in a company solely because it has a higher dividend yield. And never invest in a single company, no matter how stable it is, because it, like any other company, could go bankrupt. Of course, the idea of Coca-Cola going bankrupt appears implausible because the company has been around since the 19th century, but anything is possible. As a result, don't ever put all of your eggs in one basket. Of course, if you invest in real estate, you can get a higher yield, such as 5%, 7%, or even 10% if you find a decent deal in the market. But in an attempt to get into real estate, you need a lot of money. Even if you take out a mortgage, you must first make a down payment, and then you must spend weeks, if not months, looking for a good deal in the market. Even if you get all of that right, real estate requires a certain level of management, such as finding a tenant, fixing things that break down, and so forth. When it comes to dividends, however, there are well-known dividend stocks in which you can invest without all of that hassle, and you can start with as little as $100. Furthermore, if you want to liquidate your stocks, it is far easier than selling a house. I'm not a big fan of dividend stocks because you can make far more money by investing in growth stocks than you can by investing in dividend stocks. In the last 10 years, Amazon stock has increased by 2,500%, Facebook by 780% since 2012, Microsoft by nearly 900%, and Netflix by 3,000%. In conclusion, before you begin investing in the stock market, you must first grasp the basics of the market. You must read and comprehend financial statements, analyze businesses, and read between the lines. Thank you for watching. I hope you gained some usable wisdom from this video. If you did, go ahead and hit the notification button and then subscribe to this channel. That way, you'll be updated anytime we upload life-changing videos like this. Until next time, see ya!